They say you can't change the world unless you change yourself. So we know that we had successful march yesterday, marches across the country. They were successful, non-violence, like they always been. And there are a lot of things we need to unpack, but that's not the main thing we need to talk about today. What we need to talk about today is something different. Is the way forward from ourselves. What do we expect from ourselves? If we're holding foreigners to this high standard, what are we expecting from ourselves? We need to hold ourselves in a higher standard also. What does that mean? Support each other. That's the first, that's number one. Support Black South African business. Support Black business. The next is Black businesses need to support the initiatives of the community. We need to be entangled like we used to be. Okay, let me tell you where I come from. Minnesota, where I come from, Ikaslamemden. We used to ask people who own businesses, because when I grew up, there were no Pakistanis. So when we had like soccer matches, we used to ask those fathers, those uncles who owned local spaza shop to support tournaments. You know, they would sometimes buy a strip, football strip club, a kit. They would buy us so many things. They would open opportunities. That's what we need to reincorporate. So we need to reopen Black South African businesses and support them to the fullest, so they can also support the community. It should be an intertwined a situation where they support community with work and fundraising and all the stuff. And also communities make sure support local business so they can boom, and also take care of the communities so we can, make our communities better by ourselves. Nobody's gonna do it for us. That one, as much as nobody did it for us to stand up and fight up against illegal immigration and corrupt government, this one is gonna need us. And this one is gonna benefit us. Like we said, we don't want no politics. Politics is for them. Once we grow each other to that level, politics doesn't affect us that much. It affects us. That's why we will also have forums where we discuss what's good for our communities, which policies are good for our community. We start to discuss this without any political party telling us their propaganda, their policies, their agendas. We do it for ourselves. In communities, when maybe there's an event, community members are brought, local businesses are brought, everybody is brought in. Then we start the event, fundraisers, investors, people who mentors, people who want to learn, everybody in the community. Then we start to have this discussion on, according to us, which policies fit us best based on what we're trying to achieve. So that's where we beat the politics, because everybody will know that we now take our time to study policies on who's gonna benefit us and how. You're not just dealing with people who don't have an idea how they want to go. Now we start to educate abo auntie abangazi, abo maluma abangazi. We start to educate people in the community about real policies, like things that can be achievable, and what we should be expecting from government, and what we should be expecting from ourselves. Then it becomes a different game, not a game whereby government make these crazy promises like EFF and say we will take back the economy, take back the land, or say we will give you all these houses. No, but practical solutions in the community, that we will make sure that we reserve the local economy for the locals, and make sure we support the locals, whoever that, make sure that the businesses and the government support the local initiatives and keep the infrastructure good. We don't want for you to give us all these grants. So that's where we say cut all the money for grants, because we want to work for ourselves, but support the initiative instead of giving us the grants of 350 or whatever. That's where we don't become a socialist state. We become a state that functions, that uses its policy to move itself forward. Because of the way we go about in politics, most of the time it really doesn't benefit us. It's just that one thing, where those crazy promises, then the other guy comes. We saw navigating McKinsey. He thought this thing was a joke. That's why he fall back. So we saw that, we know that other people can fall back because of they are opportunists. But if we as a community know what are we aiming for, we know what we want, we know who we elect, maybe in our local, okay, maybe in whatever, but we know, and we hold him accountable and say we initiative, this is the initiative, support this. If you can't, we will replace you, because we don't play. We will protest. We will make sure that you get off that seat as soon as 1 year. You don't spend a lot of time. We frustrate you if you don't do things we agree upon. But if we are not one as communities, that's where problems start. That's where these councillors make shady deals with gangsters and mafias, and they become, so many councillors become, because of not as community, we are not one to know what's happening, to know what's on the way, to know what's not on the way, to know how we can participate. Everybody can participate. So when there's an invader or an intruder, we can take care of him. We have our private and local securities as local businesses. Maybe we pay 80 rand per month each businesses. We pay those patrols, or whatever, it's 200, whatever we pay for that. Then as local businesses, we put those cameras in our communities. We start to make our community to be a little bit safer, for our businesses to thrive, and for our kids to grow up in a safer environment. It's a win-win situation. But we can only do that if we are united, as we are united to this illegal foreigner thing. Peace out.